This is the thought I was having with the elections coming up, 2024. I was just having this thought. For the longest time, I've been frustrated with politics, right? I'm apathetic, frustrated. Um, but I finally come to realize politics, the whole point of politics isn't to solve social problems. The whole point of politics actually is for social cohesion. And I'll explain. So, with especially with America, which is like the melting pot of all cultures throughout the world, you need some sort of like binding glue together. You need some sort of shared narrative. With cultures that are more homogenous, right? Ethnicities that are more homogenous, you have that shared narrative already, right? That sort of ancestral culture that you carry with you. But with America, you don't have that, right? Because people come from all over the world, right? So then, what would the shared narrative be? Back then, it was religion. Religion was that shared narrative. It still is for a lot of people. But now, of course, with secularisms, secularism, atheism, agnosticism, there's not really a shared narrative, a core cultural principle for people to connect with. Right? Probably the biggest shared narrative we have today is money, maybe time, linear time, and probably the ego, personality as well. Those are the biggest shared narratives we have today. But they're not really like money, for example, was never designed to bring people together. It was never designed for that. That's not the point of money, right? The point of money, there's a lot of points. Many people have talked about it as debt, social obligation, as information, as markets, right? There's a lot of things connected to money. But the one thing it was never meant to do, money was never meant to connect people, to bring people together. Same with time, same with ego, right? By definition, the ego separates people, right? It brings people further apart, right? By definition, because it's your ego. So then what are we supposed to do, right? What's the shared like narrative? What's the cultural glue? And it's kind of become politics in America, right? So my thinking goes like this. When it comes to a lot of the institutions, beliefs, culture that we have, they are used in ways that they were never designed to do. It's like using a hammer for everything, right? A hammer is great for some things, definitely, but it's not good for everything, right? You need different tools. And religion, politics, economics, right? Every single science, every single method of inquiry, right? Every single method of looking at life, right? Perspectives, they're just a tool, right? They're not the tool. They're a tool. It's only one way of looking at things, right? Every way is valid, but not every way is equivocous. Is that a word? Like equivocal with every other way. I know there's a theory in mathematics about the unitary principle, right? Basically, it's all theories are equivalent to all other theories. Um, ZFC, blah blah blah, axiom of choice. I don't want to go into it too much, but I think I believe it's called a unitarity principle or something, singular principle. But this does seem to be the case. Basically every way of looking at the world, a scientific view, a religious view, a political view, economic view, every view is valid, but only in its certain discretion, right? It can't be applied anywhere. Just like a tool, just like a hammer. A hammer is great for hammering nails, right? But it's not great for hammering screws, right? Same with any perspective. It's great for some methods, but it's not. Each tool is great for some methods, but it's not great for all methods. Okay, so to get back to the point, right? As a practical example, for example, in America, we have social security numbers, right? Social security card. Social security cards were never designed to be social or secure, but we use them regardless. Why? Because it was kind of shoehorned, right? It was kind of retconned into the whole system we have today, right? Of social security, benefits, all this thing. The number, right? The number we're given as citizens, it was never meant to be secure, never meant to be used for that purpose, but kind of works. But this is the same with a lot of things. Actually, all things. For example, religion. Let's go back to religion. Religion was never meant to be salvation. Never. Really, the core reason, if you could even say reason, for religion is to bring people together. That's the whole point of religion. I think of religion more as a celebration, right? A celebration, a festival of life. You come together and and you're and you celebrate being alive, right? Being thankful, just being here together. So it's religion's actually closer to a music concert than most people realize, and that's what the choir, right? Church choir. That's what the organs, right? That's what all of that kind of symbolize, right? The coming together, the merging of souls. So today, right? Yesterday's religion is today's music concerts. Truly. And similarly with politics, politics was never designed to solve social problems. It was never meant to do that in the first place. Politics was a way for people to come together as a government, right? As a governmental entity. What does this mean practically? I think of politics as being closer to uh, like a club, like a school club, you have archery club, biking club, running club, you have orchestra, you have drama club. Politics is a lot closer to like a club, a school club, than something that actually solves social problems, because that was never its intention. It was never made to be that way. I think that's why many people are frustrated with politics, right? Because they want politics to solve social problems, solve climate change, solve poverty, solve homelessness, right? Solve all these things, right? Solve inequality, solve racism, right? Just solve everything. But it's not, right? It was never designed to do that. It's kind of the same with religion. People want religion to save people's souls, to bring them from eternal damnation or sin or suffering. It was never meant to do that. Religion is a celebration, it's a festival. And so I think this is the biggest uh, misconception people have with a lot of institutions, culture, belief. We put we use things that were never designed to do those things in the first place. We try to use money to, for our social means, right? Money, as I said, money was never designed to bring us together as a people, right? That's not the point of money, right? It was never meant to do that. So it's never going to fill that hole in your heart, right? The social, because we're social creatures, we need each other. We need each other. Money was never meant to do that. Medicine, same as well with medicine, education. I like to think of medicine more as, right now we have reactive medicine, which is great for acute, right? Well, like wartime, it's wartime medicine. That's great for traumatic, right? Physical trauma, but it's not great for chronic diseases. It's not great for emotional diseases. It's not great for spiritual diseases. It was never meant to solve those. Though it's shifting, it's changing. Education, we have a wartime education. We have a kind of like a, it all has to do with like a scarcity, fear sort of mindset, but not even fear, but a sort of, I think of education more as cultural doctrines rather than education. Because for me, true education would actually entail education for the future, like proactive education. The difference would be we have reactive education. We take everything we've learned so far and we condense them, filter them, to get nuggets of wisdom, right? So it's looking at the past, right? We look at everything in the past, which is useful, absolutely. But then we need a new type of education, which is proactive, right? So it would actually be teaching about what isn't yet, right? What isn't yet. And that's a lot more difficult, right? This is curiosity, right? Exploration, adventure. We don't have enough of that, the proactive education. I would actually not call it education. I would just call it exploration, right? Explorative learning. So yeah, with a lot of education, religion, politics, economy, all these things, right? All these things, they're useful. We have them because they're useful. They've benefited us greatly, but we're using them in ways that don't fit what they are capable of. Just like a hammer, right? Just like a paintbrush. A hammer, if you have nails, a hammer is very useful. If you have financial trouble, economy is very useful. But a hammer can't nail a screw, right? Or you can try, but it's not going to work that well. Economy, you can try to fix spiritual problems with economy. It's not going to work well. It was never meant to do that. So this is probably the fundamental disconnect between what people want something to do and what it actually does.